Native American elder breaks down why people became addicted to distraction. I want to begin with something very simple. Sit still for one moment, just one moment. No phone in your hand, no music in your ears, no video playing in the background, just you and the quiet and whatever is happening inside you right now. Can you do it? For many people, that simple thing, sitting still in silence, has become one of the hardest things in the world. And that tells me everything I need to know about where we are as a people. I have lived many years. I have sat beside rivers that have no interest in hurrying. I have watched fires burn down slowly through the night while nobody reached for anything to fill the silence. I have sat with elders who could be completely still for hours and emerge from that stillness clearer and stronger than when they entered it. That relationship with quiet, with stillness, and with the inner world is disappearing from human life faster than any of us fully understand. And today I want to talk about why and what it is costing us. Let me start with the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Distraction feels good. I am not going to stand here and pretend otherwise. The reason people reach for their phones 100 times a day is not because they are stupid. It is not because they are weak. It is because distraction genuinely relieves something for a moment. For a few seconds or a few minutes, the noise of the outside world drowns out the noise of the inside world. And for many people, the inside world has become a place they do not want to visit. That is the real story here. Not the phone, not the algorithm, not the technology. The question underneath all of it is, what are people running from? Because nobody becomes addicted to distraction when they are at peace. Nobody reaches frantically for something, anything, to fill the silence when they are comfortable sitting with themselves. The addiction to distraction is a symptom. The disease it is covering is something much older and much deeper. When I was a child, there was an old man in our community. He had lived through things that would break most people. He had known loss. He had known hardship. Real hardship. The kind that leaves marks on the body and on the spirit. But he was the most settled man I have ever known. I asked him once, "How do you sit so still? How does nothing seem to bother you?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I learned a long time ago that what is inside me cannot be outrun. So I stopped running. And once I stopped running, I realized there was nothing in there that could kill me." That sentence has stayed with me my entire life. There is nothing in there that can kill you. But people today do not know that. They have never tested it. Because the moment something uncomfortable rises up inside them, a sad thought, an anxious feeling, a memory that stings, a question they cannot answer, they reach for a distraction immediately, without thinking. And every time they do that, they teach themselves one thing, that the feeling inside is too dangerous to face. And every time they teach themselves that, the feeling grows larger in the dark, and the need for distraction grows with it. Now, I want to talk about what has been built around this fear, because here is something you must understand. Your discomfort is not accidental. Your distraction is not accidental. There are people, very intelligent people, who have spent their careers studying exactly how to pull your attention away from yourself, how to make their product the thing you reach for in every unguarded moment, how to make the space between thoughts so uncomfortable that you will do anything to fill it. They know that a person who is comfortable with silence is a person they cannot reach. They know that a person who is at peace with themselves does not need what they are selling. So they work deliberately, carefully, scientifically to make sure that peace becomes harder and harder to find, that silence becomes associated with discomfort, that the moment your mind begins to settle, something pings, something flashes, something pulls your eyes back to a screen. This is not an accident. It is a design. And most people are living inside that design without knowing the walls are even there. My grandfather could not have imagined such a thing. The idea that someone would build a trap not for an animal but for a human mind, and that people would walk into it willingly every day thousands of times, would have seemed impossible to him. And yet, here we are. Let me tell you what constant distraction does to a person over time. It is not dramatic. That is what makes it so dangerous. It does not happen all at once. It begins with the small disappearances. First, you lose the ability to be bored, which sounds like a good thing. But boredom was never the enemy. Boredom was the doorway. It was the moment when the mind, left alone, would begin to wander toward creativity, toward real thought, toward the questions that matter. When you can never be bored, you can never have those thoughts. Then you lose the ability to be fully present. Even when you are somewhere beautiful, somewhere that deserves your full attention, part of your mind is wondering what you are missing on the screen, whether you should be documenting this moment rather than living it. Then something more serious happens. You lose the ability to sit with difficult emotions because you have practiced for so long the habit of escaping the moment anything uncomfortable arises. Your emotional muscles have gone weak. Grief that needed to be felt gets pushed down. Anger that needed to be understood gets scrolled past. Fear that needed to be examined gets buried under entertainment. And emotions that are never processed do not disappear. They go underground. And underground, they do their damage quietly, in the form of anxiety that has no clear cause, in the form of a heaviness that never fully lifts, in the form of a vague, persistent feeling that something is wrong, that life is not what it should be, but you cannot say why. You cannot say why because you have never let yourself be still long enough to look. There is something I want to say that is perhaps the most important thing I will say today. You are more than your thoughts. You are more than your feelings. You are more than the constant noise inside your head. My people knew this. It was not something you were told once and then left to figure out. It was something you were helped to experience through ceremony, through time in nature, through long silences shared with people who had gone deep inside themselves and come back to tell you it was safe. There is a place inside every human being that is quiet, that is not touched by worry or ambition or grief. A place that simply is. That place is always there. It does not leave. But it can be buried so deep under noise and distraction that a person lives their entire life without ever finding it. And the great tragedy of our time is that millions of people are living that way, always on the surface, always in the noise, never going deep enough to find the part of themselves that knows how to rest. That is what distraction is truly costing us. Not our time, not our productivity, our depth. So what do I say to you? How do you find your way back when the current is so strong? I will tell you what I have found to be true. You begin with very small acts of stillness, not an hour of meditation, not a silent retreat. Just put the phone down, walk outside. Look at the sky. And when the urge rises to pick the phone back up, to fill the silence, to escape the discomfort, stay. Just 1 minute longer. You are not trying to solve anything in that minute. You are not trying to think beautiful thoughts. You are simply practicing the art of being present with yourself. And yes, it will be uncomfortable at first. Things will rise up. Feelings you have been avoiding, thoughts you have been burying, questions you have been postponing. Let them rise. You are safe. Nothing inside you can kill you. The old man was right about that. Breathe. Watch the feelings the way you watch clouds. They came. They will go. You are still here. And slowly, not overnight, not in a week, but slowly, the inside world will stop feeling like a dangerous place, and the outside world will start feeling less necessary as a way to escape it. That is the beginning of freedom, not freedom from the phone, freedom from the fear that made you need it. There is one last thing I want to say. In my tradition, we believed that a person who could not be still was a person who could not listen. And a person who could not listen would miss the most important things. The wind carries messages, the land speaks, the people around you say things with their eyes and their silences that they cannot say with words. You cannot hear any of it when your ears are full of noise, and in a larger sense, your own life is speaking to you. Your body is speaking. Your heart is speaking. The deep part of you that knows who you are and what you need and where you are supposed to be going, that part is speaking constantly, but you cannot hear it above the noise. Put down the distraction, not forever, just for a moment. And listen, you might be surprised what has been waiting to reach you. That is all I have for you today. I hope some part of it found its mark.